sure everyone except Lobster's happy. Now we move on to feints. The bright side is with feints, we'll always follow up with a stab. Why not? It's fun. At least in Lobster's case. Alright. Somebody, anybody, what's a feint? What's a feint? A fake? What is it?
You get them to do something you want them to do so you can open them up and kill them. Or stab them.
Yes.
Misdirection.
Pretty much. You don't have to necessarily kill them if you just want them to go away. Basically,
Go away.
well, yeah, going away is often more useful than killing, especially when you're fighting multiple people. If I can get that entire line of people to go away, it's a lot better than killing that one guy. But, yeah, feint is any non-dedicated attack, body movement, look, glance, or anything that doesn't expose yourself and causes your opponent to do something that you want them to do. Could mean it causes them to attack you. Could mean it causes them to run away in fear. Alright? You know, if I look like I'm going to drop stab Lopter, he's probably just going to back up and go quit. He's like, I'm done. He's going to wander off. So really, it's anything that you can do to control the fight can loosely be classified as a feint. Now, classically, feints come in 3 types. Well, 4 types, really. There's movement and body feints, all right, which, Kent. Actually, I did you last time, didn't I?
Yeah.
Lopter.
Do you have any particular combination you want me to bring up, or?
Sword work. It's the default of what we see the most, so even stuff that works on multiple styles. Just gonna force me back to the camera range, aren't you? See, look, a fake. If I want Lopter's sword to come up and I want his shield to go, alright. If I decide that Lopter needs to believe I'm going to my right and his equipment needs to go to my right in order to defend the attack I'm going to throw from my right, well, I don't necessarily have to put my sword over there. In fact, I could be moving my sword in the opposite direction. It turns out probably 90% of the people in the world, well, in Amtgard, pay attention to the upper body and the head. If your upper body and head are going in one direction, that's the direction that you're going as far as they're concerned. They're not really paying attention to your hands or your weapons, which seems sort of antithetical and stupid, but nonetheless, that's where they're going. They're not paying attention to your feet, even though you can't really go anywhere without your feet, right? But if I do this, he's going to turn in that direction, expecting me to continue the motion and throw a wrap. Well, I'm not. We go like this, get him open, come back, and pop him, or throw a shallow cross to the arm. Whichever. I'm really just trying to get him to turn with my body so that I can take advantage of him now that he's open. Because I'm not really there, he just thinks I'm going to be there. Another really classic body feint that you can do is just drop. We do this for the drop stab, so everyone's used to seeing it. They know what's coming if we drop, right? Exactly. Then we just come back up and hit them in the shoulder.
Please.
Exactly. And all we're really doing is we're playing on their inherent fear of being stabbed in the balls in order to hit them in the shoulder. You can tell the stabs and feints part of this class goes together real well, can't you?
Yeah.
So, again, if I come low and then go high, he's going to drop. He's going to try and follow me low. If he's not following you low, if he's just not paying that much attention, go low slower if you're dedicated to making him come down. If he's not going down at all, you can just stab him. Just stab him in the balls, okay? And then next time, he will go lower.
All right. Condition your monkey.
Exactly. Pavlov. It's all Pavlov. Dogs salivate. Lopter bleeds from the penis. No! So again,
Shot doesn't help that either.
you want to go slow, just work it down. For whatever reason, it also helps if you sway your knees and kind of...
All in the hips.
But they will. The more motion you have on going down, the more they're going to pay attention to it, and then you spring up off the knee. Okay? So it's just like what we were doing with the stab. Instead of going stab, you just come up instead. Let yourself carry all the way up. Okay. Other body feints that work really well, you see a lot of people do this, is they stomp. Now, against higher range fighters or upper mid-range fighters, this doesn't work, they don't care. But especially against newer people or lower end fighters, a stomp is gold. If I stomp, they pay attention to it, and they get grabbed. All right? Or, if they're scared of you and you stomp,
And you get that scrape too.
no! Batman, no! All right. Anyways, if you stomp, they'll often either look at it or go backwards. And really, you just have to know the person. If they're really new, they're going to look at it. They're going to go, he moved his foot! Wow! And then you have to hit them a lot because they're distracted by the foot. And it takes a while for new things to for hits to sink in on new players.
You need a shinier sword.
Really shiny silver lame cover in the left hand. Alright, that's sort of the metagaming feint. We'll get to that later. So, again, body fakes, very efficient because they really don't require you to expose yourself. Alright? But they're not necessarily as obvious as they could be to a lot of people. A lot of newer players, aside from the stomp, aren't going to fall for a lot of the body fakes because they don't see them. They just don't see them. I hate fighting newbies, to be perfectly honest with you guys. I mean, what it comes down to is I've got a really refined, technical fighting style, and they don't have any clue that they're supposed to be falling for all my shit. They're like, I'm going to stand here and swing at your head. I'm like, oh, that's great. I'm going to block and then knee check you and stab you on the way down. But it's frustrating all the same because I feel like I'm having to sink to their level rather than doing something very suave.
Coming to the crowd.
Yeah. Well, you got to fight to your opponent, right? Okay. So, we are going to work a body fake. Just because it's one of the better ones, we're going to work the high-low. All right? It's just like what we did earlier with the drop stab. Instead of stabbing as you come down, you're going to work it down, you're going to work it a little bit slower, and then you're going to spring off that lead knee. You're going to get air, you can wrap the shoulder. Okay? This is very basic, very 101, works on basically every shield guy on the planet. All right? All right, break up into groups. Someone you haven't fought with before, if possible.